Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Gilded City. This is episode number 20. Crazy. As always, we would love it if you could show us support, like and subscribe, and leave a comment, and all that good stuff on YouTube. Follow the podcast. Follow us on social media at Rollers Guild D&D for follow us on social media for better focused natural 20s next time you play D&D. Rollers Guild at Rollers Guild D&D on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And let us know what you think. But with all of that being said, we will go ahead and jump into tonight's episode. Last time, following the Benevolent Society soup kitchen, the party discovered that Marivaldi's representatives had taken the bait and would indeed be going after Bowman that night. Initially, the party believed their best bet was to let Bowman get taken, but after Artemis received a message from a mysterious individual warning them not to let Bowman get taken, they changed tactics. After fighting off the monsters that came after Bowman, the mysterious figure introduced himself to the whole party as a devil named Mordai. Mordai told them their enemy was involved with demons and proposed a deal to help the party out. After some debate, the party turned down Mordai's offer, determined to take down Marivaldi on their own. So, that. You had all gone home for the night to get some sleep. Yes, Artemis, did you have something you wanted to do?
Yeah, in the last few moments, right after the kerfuffle, while I'm still on the roof, and if there's anyone else on the roof with me, I don't remember. No, wait, I got pulled off the roof.
Yeah. You had come down.
I got pushed off, that's right.
No, I pulled you off
Yeah.
the roof.
Okay. While my dragon is still, hopping about. I want to have it fly around a bit and fly off in the same direction that we saw the big old fly guy run off, that northeast. And see if I can line up that same direction.
Okay.
Basically, I'm trying to use it as a benchmark to help myself kind of compass to see exactly what direction he was flying in.
Sure. So go ahead and make for me, let's call this a Arcana check. Or actually perception. Let's make it a perception check.
That is better.
Are we still around?
If it's before the spell ends, you all would have to still be around. So we're rewinding a little bit to just before Artemis's major image phase.
22.
22. With a 22, you do. So if you'll recall, the Casme didn't actually fully fly away because it was stunned when, but it did try to turn at one point. So you get sort of lined up with the direction it was turning in. Again, generally pointed to the northeast. I would say probably more north than east. So it'd be more like northeast.
Okay.
But I mean, there is a ludicrous amount of city in that direction, and you also don't know if it was going to change directions before it flew.
Right.
But,
so there aren't any like landmarks, or if I like ask the reporters what is in that direction for the city.
unfortunately, I think it's just a little.
It's just so much.
There's just a lot. You're
Okay.
you're in one of the southernmost parts of the city.
Okay.
So there is a lot of city to the northeast of where you are.
Okay. Great. As we're all dispersing, then I'll just say we should probably meet again very soon. Maybe even tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, with that, then you all
Thank you.
disperse, head home. Yes, Penny.
Just a Zuzu question. Which direction is the Undercliff Ward? Would that be in the northeast?
Undercliff Ward is northeast of where you are.
Okay.
Yeah. Depending on the part of the Undercliff Ward, some parts are more north, some parts are more east, but it's generally northeast of where you are. Okay. So you all disperse for the evening, make your way back home. As you saw at the end of last time, Bowman, of course, had the moment where he spoke to Mordai privately. But if the plan is that everybody comes back together again tomorrow night,
We should have said where before we departed. Where
Janara's.
are we?
Janara's.
Okay.
I think when we
If we
meet
meet-
up at this point, it's
okay.
at Janara's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless we say otherwise.
That's a good plan.
So, great. So, unless anybody has anything they wanted to do during the day, we can skip ahead to all of you gathering that next night. And go ahead and click long rests for all of you, since
Hooray!
God.
probably would have been
Confirmed.
tired. Yeah, you all gather back up at Janara's the next night to try to make your next plans.
So, devils and demons, but we're mainly focused on demons.
Yeah, one problem at a
Yes.
time. Probably. Whoever is behind it all, if not Marivaldi themselves, probably knows whoever it was didn't come back last night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so something didn't work out. Either that will put them on alarm, like that happened with Bloodkeith, or they don't care. I mean, we just don't know. We don't have any idea of where to poke around, where to look. Where is Marivaldi's bank? The bank of whatever. Like, is there like a headquarters in the city?
Yep.
The main bank?
Yep, the main branch of the National Bank of Waterdeep is in Castle Ward. Penny knows where it is because she's been there, but most of you would probably at least have a vague idea of where it is, as it is the largest bank in the city.
Didn't Simon get taken a few days after he went to the soup kitchen? Are we worried that they're going to put out another hit?
Well, we'll know if they have, if they have another soup kitchen event thing again, we can always stick around again.
Specifically on Bowman. I don't know if they told anyone else about Bowman.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe this is too overprotective, but I feel like Bowman shouldn't be going home alone. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be anywhere alone for a little bit. Do you have a roommate, Bowman?
Yeah. At that point, I cast Find Steed again. Yeah, I have right here, and it's a dog. It's the
Okay.
dog.
Do you have a human or a creature?
Humanoid.
Like a
That's
humanoid person.
The dog speaks it up and says, "What do you? What do you mean?" I don't know. Fucking dog's voice. Feinstein.
Many don't, because they don't speak.
No, they do. Feinstein, they are intelligent enough to speak a language that I know myself. So.
I was talking about real dogs.
Well, really?
Not that you.
I will quickly point out. Feinstein has the ability to understand one language that you speak, and it can communicate with you telepathically, but it cannot speak to anybody else.
So Bowman was like, "Yeah, look," and he like barked at me. Like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Yeah, clearly. Bowman needs someone else with him.
Yeah, I feel like
The necrotic damage really did a number on him.
Can
maybe we can do a
Feinstein
swap thing.
Oh, what?
Bowman can stay at each of our houses each night, and we'll do a rotation.
Is Penny actually suggesting this?
Yeah, I don't know.
Not that
Yeah.
not that I wouldn't love to have Bowman stay over at my house, but everything is half of his height.
That's true.
So
I don't want to speak for Janara here, but maybe we should all stay together. I mean, like, several of you walked away together. We don't know who else was invisible or who else might have seen things.
I mean, you're all welcome to stay here if that.
Thank you.
ends
I felt
up-
very awkward offering up your home.
But also remember how Freedom was saying that we shouldn't always go to Janara's house just in case?
Yeah.
Maybe that will start to get dangerous if we're all in the same location all the time. I'm just saying strictly because Bowman literally has a hit on him. Should we be more careful?
I mean, we don't know for sure. I might be being overly cautious, but if he isn't snatched in the next few days, it's probably okay. I just remember Simon wasn't taken the same day. He was taken a few days later, right? I am remembering that correctly, aren't I?
I believe so.
That was more Eva asking than my character asking.
I don't remember.
And we won't really know if someone does get you.
That's the thing. I mean, I'm sure Bowman could defend himself or whatever, but if they ambush him and then we lose him, then we're out. I mean, he's like our most valuable asset right now because he is the one that has the hit on him. Also, he's strong.
That was a really big monkey.
Oh. Yeah, well, I'm up for any options at this point, whatever helps us get more information. Also, if they do try to attack me again, and someone is nearby, we could probably jump them.
Yeah.
True.
And maybe alert the others too if they're not here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that can be our plan going forward for the evenings. We'll just pass Bowman around like a hot potato.
Do we want to go back out into a not great area with Bowman front and center and kind of try to flaunt him again and see if we get anything to bite?
Okay. I'm not a worm, okay?
I'm not saying you're a
You're a
worm.
very strong, attractive worm.
Okay,
Thank
we can
you.
unpack that later. But so what I'm saying though is we could try it. Like Janara is saying, Simon was taken possibly a couple days later. We could try doing that again.
Sure.
I also want to do more archive work to look at anything I can find about him or the food banks or the areas or whatever. See if we can maybe get anything from old paper stuff too.
Yeah.
Because Matt doesn't take the best of notes. So where's the name? Marivaldi, started the bank and the Gauntlet Reform Society. That was our food bank issue. And the Watchful Order is or is not tied to this. We haven't found a link.
We haven't
between the
found a
two?
direct link.
Here's the Watchful Order connection. Watchful Order connection is that they are the ones who are buying up the properties that the bank forecloses on.
Oh.
You also already know that Bloodkeith was putting money into the Watchful Order.
And
So it isn't necessarily the Watchful Order is under Marivaldi's thumb. It is continuation of that list that we saw, probably a continuation of there is some agreement between the 5 mob bosses of the city that is some sort of shenanigans. Probably?
To the best of your knowledge.
We don't know anything that disproves that.
Right.
Okay. Buying
The-
properties, bank.
The god that Marivaldi worshipped, I don't know how to spell it. I wrote Baphomet. Baphomet?
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 Baphomet. Baphomet.
hang on.
That
What?
is
Baphomet.
Baphomet.
Okay.
That is the
Do
name
you-
you were told last night by Mordai, and that is a demon lord.
Ooh.
Would it like an Arcana check or something?
You can make an Arcana check, see if you know anything about Baphomet. I will tell you now, it is going to be a pretty high DC.
That's a 7, so.
Worships Demon Lord.
Is there like
Can
a
we find
book
out where
I can
he-
check out about demons?
That's what I was
Or
wondering.
is that like a red flag?
There's
I was
probably-
also wondering that. I mean, theoretically, if you just go to a library, you could read about stuff in the library and then put the book back, and then nobody would know.
Mm-hmm. Also, most libraries have a rule about free access to information. It's a breach of confidentiality if they snitch on you. So
Gotcha.
That's a mighty bold assumption that you made, that this world's library system works the same as the IRL library system.
you mean they're not following the American Library Association code
What's
of conduct?
America? What's America?
Oh my god. What is America, everyone? All right, well. Who wants to find a book about demons and look that up? Who
I'll
wants
do
to
it.
Got it. All right, perfect.
Oh, thank God, someone else. Books are so boring. Like, there's nothing.
Reading is.
I don't know. Break into his
fantastic.
house. It's great. It's so boring.
Do we
I have
know
to do
where
so
he
much
lives?
of it.
Do you know how much you can learn from reading books?
I learned so much more at the taverns than any book ever taught me.
That explains.
I would like to telekinetic shove Artemis just a little bit.
I'll just
because
fucking
he's
allow it.
shitting on-
I
Just
believe
'cause
that's a
he's shitting on
strength saving throw.
Oh no, this will
It
be
is.
fun. Okay.
It is a strength saving throw.
Oh, 14.
Does not save. You get pushed 15 feet away from me.
Holy shit! Fucking, there's an Artemis dent in this wall.
Yeah, Artemis, you're sitting in your chair, you say that, and suddenly your chair just goes slides across the floor. Loud grinding noise as the legs of the chair just scrape along the floor.
Penny's gonna start laughing so hard she cries.
Sorry, Artemis, but books are very important.
Yeah. Yep. I will never again tarnish the good name of book.
Mm-hmm.
Of book.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Do I have any
So-
books on me right now? I don't think so.
Do we want to meet up in the same area we were a few days ago where we got jumped by those people? Or do we just want to do some research? What is the plan?
Should we break into his house?
Do we know where his
No.
house is?
We can find out.
That can be your job.
There we go.
All right. Does someone want to come with, like you, Nick? Someone who's a little like sneaky.
Do we need to sneak to find out where his house is? I mean, sure, but
Well, no. I was just. If things got interesting.
I'll go with you.
Great.
I have a job to do.
And who is babysitting Bowman? Which one of us is babysitting Bowman?
I don't
Oh.
think that's the right word for it. Exactly.
I have you know, young lady, I'm 3 times your age.
He's probably fine as long as it's not nighttime, right?
Yeah.
I mean, those guys were tough.
Yeah, they are
But
demons.
I don't think they're gonna snatch him at work if he.
Yeah.
Bowman, you're
goes.
57?
60.
Then you're not 3 times my age. You're a little
Ah.
more.
I'm sorry.
Wait,
I have
how
a-
old are you?
Bowman, he's 57.
No, how old are you, Penny?
I'm 19.
Divide by 3.
Yeah, I don't feel like doing math.
How old are you?
45.
I don't know what that means. Could you convert that to human years?
I think it's.
I've been alive for
45.
45 years.
You've been alive for 45 years.
She's not like a dog.
What's the
Like in-
conversion rate on that?
Penny, you can't just ask how old someone is in.
I mean, I did.
Nick asked me how old I was.
How old
Why
am
can't I do it
Hold
just because
on.
I'm not 45?
I don't even remember how old Artemis is.
Artemis is 21.
I think that's
23?
correct.
He told me because I asked him.
Then I probably
And he does
didn't
know his
lie to
age.
you.
Can I roll to see if I remember his age?
I mean, Artemis remembers his name. The idiot player that made him doesn't remember.
Are we sure Artemis remembers his age?
Yes. Well. Yes. Oh my god, where do I find it? I could spend the rest of the day looking for this.
It's a
Anyway.
description.
I lied. He's 22. I sincerely apologize for his
That's
previous
close. I
lie,
said 21
but
for 3.
Yeah.
he lies all the time. So
Out of game question. Have any of you played D&D in a sense that like there was a session where you celebrated your character's birthday?
I celebrated someone
Me?
else's birthday.
Xavier turned 10.
Oh yeah.
That was fun.
Amazing. All right. So I don't necessarily think that they're gonna attack me on the docks while I'm working surrounded by other burly men as well.
Women and people.
Yes. Well, people, we'll see. There's a couple bugbears there.
Bugbears are people.
bugbears are people, Bowman.
Are they creatures?
Anyways.
Bugbears have the humanoid type. Bugbears are humanoids.
All
And
right,
the DM
sorry.
has enough of our shit.
Sorry.
So mad.
Other humanoids.
I will not allow racism in my D&D game.
Wouldn't that
Oh,
be?
these are not humanoid.
Would it be speciesism?
Sure.
Anyway.
Some of this is getting cut out. This is very rambly. Anyway,
Anyway.
None of it's gonna cut out.
What are you talking about?
We don't edit these
This
at
is
all.
live.
Unusable content. Hours of unusable content.
We'll
Let's
release
make
it
this
when we
whole
get to
episode
5.
unusable. Quick, put on a copyrighted shirt.
What happened?
All right, wait just one
So
second. Let me just
Janara
get
and
my
Artemis are gonna
Disney-
go.
So I need to get y'all back on track. So
Very good.
it's okay. It's okay.
Good luck finding a place to cut.
Yeah,
We'll find it.
I am gonna leave that in Susan.
What?
I am gonna leave that in Susan.
No, you can't do that.
Anyway, so getting y'all back on track then. You're talking about the fact that Bowman does not think he is at risk while on the job. Continue from there.
So I'm pretty fine from 4 a.m. to 5 p.m. So
So like 5 p.m. is bedtime. Not bedtime, but let's
4
say
a.m.?
Yeah.
That's so early.
what time's your shift start?
When I get up,
My bedtime is 5 a.m.
Well, perfect. You should watch him then.
Great, that sounds excellent.
okay, so
Bowman
we
and I
can
will
try
hang
that
out.
then. Artemis watches Bowman for the next 3
Couple
days.
name,
Ship
Artemin.
name?
I will look into archives. Nyx is going to handle demons. Janara and Artemis are going to go try to find out where Marivaldi lives. Meet up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Great.
And break.
All right, so you break apart there. So we'll split into doing those 3 different things that you all as a party have going on in terms of research. Let's see who goes first. Janara and Artemis, the 2 of you meet up the next day to try and find where Marivaldi lives. What is your plan for how you're going to accomplish this?
Couldn't be too hard. There's got to be some sort of
Phone book.
like the equivalent of a phone book or records or something, right?
Is it not just as simple as asking someone? Being, who we are?
Yeah.
That's not going to draw, attention. There's no reason for us. We were just curious. I can be mulling over making an investment and wanting to have a private conversation with him if we need a cover.
I was gonna say you could offer. His soup kitchens aren't a secret, right? You could offer to provide wine at the next
Wow.
thing. I don't know if that would be super weird because it's a soup kitchen, but
It's also like a trap, so I feel a little icky about contributing, but it's a good, I think it's a good backup plan if someone asks why do you need to know?
yeah, I don't know. Just so we have some sort of excuse that sounds slightly plausible.
All right. Where should we go find, let's go to the rich part of town.
You're in it.
Great.
Already in it. That's where Janara lives. So you've got basically there's 2 main wards where the vast majority of wealthy people in the city live. The C ward is where the inherited nobility live, and the North ward is where the corporate wealthy typically live. And there's some crossover there, but that's sort of the general divide between the 2 wealthy parts of town. So if you are going to wander around the wealthy part of town, which of
instead
those 2 wards would you like to wander around in, I guess?
Instead of just wandering around, I am blanking, but should be in my notes. Why don't we go visit Herb? Herb knows everyone.
Oh. All right. That'll work well.
Great. Yeah, the two of you go over to Herb Davis's house. Mansion.
Janara doesn't know you.
House.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
This will be fun.
I didn't even think of that when I was starting my sentence.
That wasn't your first thought?
That was not my first thought.
Yeah, the two of you head over there, ring the doorbell. Yeah. A few minutes pass, the door is opened by a well-dressed butler. Hello, how can I help you?
Good morning. I was wondering if Miss Darling and Mr. Bratshield here are calling for Mr. Davis, if he's in.
I will inquire to see if the master is available. I know he had some business he was going over with some other congressmen, but I will see if he has a moment to spare. Follow me right this way. I will lead you into a sitting room. And he leads you. You remember the large entry hall with the grand staircase and stuff, but you're led to a room that was sort of not closed off during the midwinter ball that you all attended, but a room that just wasn't particularly utilized during the event. Just a sort of a small sitting room off to the side, still very well appointed, nice comfortable armchairs, table in the center of the room. The butler sits you down and says and asks if would either of you like something to drink?
Yes, a good, what time is it? It's like 11, 10?
Yeah.
He will request something appropriate for the hour.
Okay.
I would love a cup of tea.
Very well.
That.
Very
There.
well. The butler leaves. A few moments pass. A couple other household servants come in with a tea tray and serve you tea. A few more moments pass, and you two just hear from out in the grand entry hall some echoed voices. Hard to make out what they're saying, but eventually
Is there any way we can see who it is? Catch a glimpse?
you can go ahead and attempt to make a perception check. Try to get what you can.
12.
12. Yeah, you wander over the door, you peek out, you see, sort of, you can't really get a good angle on everything that's going on right now, but.
Luck. I'm giving him luck.
Oh, reroll.
Ooh. 15.
15. This is better. You glance out, you see sort of glancing out at the top of the grand staircase, you see Congressman Davis, as well as several other well-dressed people you would assume are congressmen and women as well. And they are having a conversation. It seems like they just stepped out of a room somewhere up on the second floor. You again aren't really able to get a full sense of everything they're saying, but you do hear a snippet of yes, well, Marchester wants to force a vote before summer's end on the matter, so we really need to hammer out a deal. And
Great.
and then you catch Congressman, and that was another one of the congressmen. And then Congressman Davis says, yes, well, if you'll excuse me for just one moment, folks, I've got a couple of visitors who came calling. And then he comes down the stairs, and you quickly back away from the door as he does. He comes into the room. Miss Darling, wonderful to see you as always. And Mr. Brightshield, lovely to have you here again. To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit today?
I was hoping you could do me a tremendous favor. I know you know everyone, and I'm trying to figure out how to reach someone. His name is Marivaldi. He's quite wealthy. I'm trying to make a business deal with him. Do you happen to know his address?
Go ahead and make a persuasion check for me. And Artemis, make an insight check for me.
Ooh.
I got a nat 20.
Nice. Great. And Artemis, what'd you get for your insight check?
18.
18. Okay. So, Davis strokes his mutton chops and says, yep. And says, yes, Mr. Marivaldi, he lives over in North Ward, right at the edge of the cliff along Manor Lane is the name that they have given it, which is somewhat ridiculous because there's manors all over the city, but a lot of a lot of wealthy folks whose wealth has come in the last 100 years or so have built elaborate estates right on the cliff edge
New
in
money.
the North Ward. With your 18 insight check, Artemis, you do get the sense that Herb Davis has quite a bit of distaste for Marivaldi.
Sure.
Sorry, you said along North Ward on Manor Lane?
Manor Lane in North Ward, yes.
What are your impressions of the gentleman, if I may ask, before we go in and attempt any sort of business?
You go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
24.
24. I don't particularly care for the man, to be honest with you. He claims to do a lot of good for the poor of the city. He does donate a lot of money to soup kitchens and whatnot, which is all well and good, but then he has long been one of the staunchest supporters of the Purity Coalition. You'd think if he actually cared for the poor of the city, he would want them to have equal rights as the wealthy, but...
Fascinating.
I agree with that.
All right. Things to look out for. Oh.
He is also a cutthroat banker and businessman. There's many, many banks that the National Bank of Waterdeep has consumed over the years since its founding.
Perhaps this isn't a gentleman we want to have any dealings with, then, Janara.
Perhaps not, but I still appreciate the information. I know I can always count on you.
Of course, we are neighbors after all. Well, unfortunately, I would much prefer to spend time talking with the two of you for the rest of the day, but I do have business I need to get back to.
Yes, of course.
Of course. I'll have to have you over for dinner sometime. Thank you so much.
That would be lovely.
Always a pleasure, Mr. Davis.
The pleasure is, of course, mine, Mr. Brightshield.
I'll give him a little wink and...
the corners of his mouth like twitch when you wink at him, and he
so his mutton chops just flutter.
Yeah.
Little flutter chops.
Yep.
Dinara's just gonna be oblivious.
Okay. But yes, you now have a rough location of Marivaldi's home.
Great.
You know, Cutthroat.
Oh, and by the way, the butler then comes in and escorts you out. Just
Great.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can have this conversation out. You can continue the conversation outside of.
We can't. I mean,
Davis's
we're
Yeah, we'll
right
just
next
head
door to
or
my
walk.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. A cutthroat gentleman consolidating power, eating up other banks. Demons. You know, Freedom's suggestion of messing with them is getting a little more appealing.
I was already on board with that.
Right. All right. Best to see what everyone else gathers. Unless you want to swing by Manor Lane now, real quick. Just to see if we can see which one.
Sure.
Okay.
Right.
The two of you head across town towards Manor Lane. So as you move into the North Ward, you know, it's got all the hallmarks of the wealthy part of town, just as the Seaboard has, you know, wide lanes, lots of plant life, though, you know, given that it's winter, most of it is dead, but it's, you know, trees and bushes are still there. A lot, you know, very large houses and homes. Artemis is the part of town that your Grand Hotel is in. But
Oh, good to know.
eventually you find your way over to Manor Lane, which is a long curving lane that goes by a series of mansions that are built right along the cliff of Upper Waterdeep, basically, and looking out over the Undercliff Ward, and then beyond that, the fields and forests surrounding Waterdeep. So a good view on smogless days at the very least. So yeah, these are huge, elaborate mansions. A lot of these are larger homes than you would see in your home ward of Seaward, Janara, because these mansions were built more recently and were built larger and built to show off the new money. So as you make your way down, you see virtually all these manors and mansions have like elaborate gated fences. I'd like the two of you to go ahead and make an investigation check for me. One of you with advantage or both of you once, your choice.
I have +0.
I've got +4.
Oh, go.
Great. Ooh, that's good, because that was a 2. Whoop, not much better.
Luck.
Well, 10. Ooh, luck. All right. 11.
Oh,
11. Okay.
Dice betrayed me.
Yeah, you're wandering around. You're trying to figure out which of these, you know, huge mansions is Marivaldi's estate. But unfortunately, it is just there's no like obvious markings that it's like, oh, this is Marivaldi's home. Like he doesn't have, you know, a huge sign that says Diero Marivaldi's Grand Mansion. Although some of these
convenient.
Some of the estates do in fact have names posted in the fence work, but you do not see one that has Marivaldi's name. You do see one that has Bloodkeith's name that looks dark. The windows are dark.
Sure. You don't think her father's gonna be like moving back in there soon?
Yeah.
But I wonder if we played things right, could get an ally.
Perhaps, but we could also blow our cover if we're not careful.
Very true. All right, well, I'm as useful as a bloodhound without a sense of smell. So,
How many houses don't have names? Roughly.
Exactly.
Now I have to make something up.
Sorry. Is it
No,
a
that's
lot?
okay.
Is it like an enormous
Yeah,
amount?
I'd say that there's more houses that don't have names than houses that have names. Because it's garish. Even for new money, it's garish.
Even for new money. Shots fired. I appreciate it.
Do I know what he looks like? Do I know what Marivaldi looks like?
Make a history check.
Um, 16.
16. You've probably seen a photograph of him before. You know, he's a human man. Relatively handsome looking. You know, dark hair. Hard to tell what his complexion is like in sort of the sepia tone photographs. But you, based on the photographs, lighter end of the skin tone range. Handsome. I may have already said, but and he's got
Worth repeating.
Worth repeating. He has sort of a goatee as well.
What time of day is it?
It's probably midday now.
We could just hang out in the neighborhood until we potentially see him. If it gets to be too late, you could go back to watch Bowman and I can hang out here. I'm not doing anything.
All right. We are meeting with everyone else this evening.
I
but-
know, but hopefully he comes home around dinner time.
All right. Sure. Let's find a bench. I don't know. Swap some stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead then, make a perception check for me, and we'll, you know, fast forward ahead as you're sort of chilling to see if
Oh.
you do spot.
I'm gonna roll. I have good perception.
Great.
18.
18. Yeah, you guys are sort of chilling on this bench for a little while, just enjoying the day, some other wealthy people going by. Eventually you do spot, like, way down the lane, somebody who looks like the photograph you've seen of Marivaldi, Janara, and you see him. He just sort of comes out. He like steps out of a very nice looking carriage, and some servants open a gate for him, and he goes through the gate up towards one of the mansions, and the carriage pulls away. So you've now identified which mansion is his. You can go over, take a look at it. You see very, very large, 4-story mansion, multiple wings, couple of, sort of an uncountable number of chimneys, lots and lots of windows, that sort of thing. The yard around the mansion is well maintained, if a little drab, but there's nothing like super immediately like, oh, a demon worshiper lives here about the exterior of the mansion.
Sure.
Darn it.
Not painted on the front door.
Yeah, he doesn't have, a giant idol of Baphomet.
Okay.
Missed opportunity, really.
Well, I think we got what we came here for.
Yeah, nicely spotted.
All right. Let's get
All right.
back.
We will transition away from the two of you then. Let's head on over to the library.
Woo.
So, Nix, you have made your way over to the largest public library in the city, named the Grand Mistralath Library. Mistralath being a railroad baron who has sponsored a number of libraries all across the Federation.
I hate that.
Yeah, well, it's a good PR move.
Yeah, we hate libraries.
That's not what I'm saying.
But
he's another guy that's on our.
she's
Sorry. He's another guy on our hit list.
Burn it down.
but anyway, you go into the library. And you are looking for information on demons and demon cults, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So are you going to ask someone or are you just gonna look?
No, I'm just gonna look.
Make an investigation check.
Sure. I rolled a 2. So that's 10.
Okay, a 10. You explore the library. It's a huge library. I mean, there's shelves and shelves and shelves on, different sections. It's like 3 stories of books and reading rooms and desks and that sort of thing. And you see various people like working on writing notes or what have you, including some, you would assume, university students. But as you're looking around, you can't find any section about demons. There's no demon section in the library.
Okay. Do I see anybody from where I am right now, wherever that is, who looks like they work at the library?
Yeah, you can find an employee.
Okay. I am going to go up to them.
Okay.
Hello, excuse me. I was wondering if you could help me find some information.
Certainly. What are you looking for?
Now, I don't know if you've heard, but there are demons and devils trying to invade our city. And I need to do some preparation work for when they do finally take over. I was hoping you would have some information about demons and or devils because we need to prepare. They're going to come very soon. I need to get all of the information that I can possibly gather. Please, where is it?
Please make a persuasion check.
Performance.
She did so good.
If performance, you can do performance if you'd prefer.
No, I'd rather do persuasion. A 15.
This clerk backs away from you a little bit. All right, ma'am. Well, first of all, if there's incredible threats of interplanar attacks on our city,
I heard it from my neighbor.
Recommend you go to the authorities with that one. The watchful.
They don't listen. They're all in it together.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to.
Oh no.
I'm going to need you to calm down. Unfortunately, information about demons and devils is considered unsafe for public consumption, And so to access the library stacks on those topics, you need to apply for access to those chambers or provide a written document from a high up city official allowing you access to such a room.
We love the restricted section.
But this is important information that the public must know. We must prepare.
Ma'am, I understand. I am just telling you the library's process.
So if I get written permission from an elected official, then I can go and see it.
Yes.
Or a lawyer or a magistrate or someone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll be back.
Oh no.
Okay, Mom.
Nix just starts listing off, or a dentist, or a dog groomer,
Or a pediatrician.
how about my baker?
What is that guy's name?
Who are you looking for?
I am looking for the magistrate dude.
They are named Mavrius.
Mavrius. I'm gonna go find Mavrius. I'm assuming that I don't report. There's nothing to fix today. So at Sanctuary's Tavern.
Yeek.
Oh
Just
boy.
fucked off for lunch.
No, I checked in.
Okay.
There was nothing to fix.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
I asked the teacher if there was any homework and then stopped listening, so there was no homework.
Okay. Yeah, you go ahead and make an investigation check for me to find where Mavrius's office is.
I think that's it. I rolled a 17 and I have a plus lots.
You have a plus lots.
25.
Okay. Yeah, easily enough. You head over to the main courthouse in the city. Go in, and as luck would have it, because you got a 25, as you enter sort of the main foyer lobby area, you see Mavrius there. They're walking by with some other individuals who work here, hurriedly going from place to place. They're wearing sort of the long black robes that magistrates typically wear, and their glasses are sort of finely shined and placed very high up on their nose, as if they're like getting ready to go into something.
Mavrius.
Mavrius
Sorry.
starts and turns to look at you.
Hello. I don't know if you remember me. Do you remember me? I I just saw the chat. Okay.
How can I help you, citizen? The other magistrates are kind of hanging back a little
Nyx
bit.
now remembers that she did not look like herself when she met Mavrius. So maybe we haven't met. I think I confused you with someone else. And she's gonna see if the secret passcode for snack works, which I think I definitely wrote down somewhere.
Was it excited for freedom in Waterdeep finally?
Something like that. I am a big fan of freedom for the people of Waterdeep, and I was hoping I could talk to you in private.
Sounds deranged.
They run their hand through their sort of dark hair, tilt their head a little bit. If you'll come right this way, I will see what I can do for you. Just
Thanks.
give me one moment, and
Sure,
and
yep,
they
sorry.
go over to talk
Call their
Pretty
bodyguard.
intrusive.
to the other magistrates and say, you all go on ahead. I just want to see what this citizen is concerned about. And one of the other magistrates says, Favrius, we don't have to talk to every crazy that wanders in off the street. And Mavrius says, I would like to just see why this citizen came. The other magistrates go on. Mavrius leads you off into a sort of a side room, closes the door.
So sorry. I forgot. You
Who
don't know.
are you?
Do you remember?
Never mind. I don't want to ask that question. I take it you know freedom.
Yeah.
What does freedom want?
Freedom would like you to write me a permission slip to look at the restricted books at the library.
Mom, can I go to the library?
Make a precision check for me. With advantage.
Cool.
Because of very specific reasons.
Advantage. I believe that's going to be a 21.
All right. Well, I will write you that note. I'm going to go ahead and assume that I don't want to know why right now.
I mean, you.
I'm going to assume
Sure,
that I don't
yeah.
want to know why right now.
Yep.
You'll
You'll find out eventually, probably.
tell Freedom she owes me a trick sometime.
Yep. We'll definitely communicate that to Freedom.
Bavrius pulls out a fountain pen, some parchment, quickly writes you a note, with a flourish, does their signature and gives it to you.
Thank
Nice.
you. This is great.
Yes.
All right. Well, sorry to
Now,
bother you.
That's okay. We're just trying to hammer out the last particulars of the Bloodkeith prosecution. So
Gotcha. Very
I
important
assume
stuff.
Freedom told you about that, and that's why you're here. So
Yes, she told me about it.
you keep saying things in a way that makes me think that you are not being entirely truthful. And I just want to say you need to work online. Okay, I'm gonna go now before I lose all manner of plausible deniability.
Okay.
And they open the door and walk out.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go back to the library.
A successful day.
Yeah. You go back to the library, present your letter to a library. As you come back in, you find
I
that
just
same
hold
librarian
it out
who
with
like
my-
jumps backwards and slaps the arm of a security guard nearby. That's the crazy person. That's the crazy person.
I have my note. I need to see the demon and devil information.
Fun fact, I worked in a library for a little bit, and this is bringing up some real nice memories.
I went to Barnes and Noble and I've had this conversation.
We love serving the public.
How the fuck did you get mad? You know what? Okay, right this way. I'm apparently it's fine. This person says to the security guard, who's like gripping like a baton. I was like, apparently it's fine. Right this way.
Thank you. I will pass on any information that I find out to you.
Please don't. And this poor library clerk leads you off to the to a door. They unlock it. You see that on the door are stenciled the words "not fit for public consumption."
I say food.
And you are allowed into the restricted stacks of the library.
Is it food?
There are several bookcases in here laden with books. The clerk says, "Now, per library rules, I have to stay in here
Good.
with you until you're done."
This dude's gonna retire early.
Nick sits down with a page and just goes, Doom!
You have written permission from one of the high magistrates of the city to peruse the stacks. So please feel free to peruse.
Do you know specifically where the information would be?
That bookcase down there, you want to look for number 235.47. That's the call number for spiritual beings.
This guy needs such a raise if that is correct.
Okay, thank you. And you know what? Nyx herself, like, beyond whatever the heck it is that she's doing right now, feels bad for this poor person. And so she is going to tip him. But, like, she also knows that typically public, service workers can't take tips. So she's just gonna, like, sneakily stick it in their back pocket.
Okay, make a sleight of hand check.
If it fails, you've just like tried to put
Just
your hand in
slap
your
his
back
ass.
pocket.
It's like when you were trying to put money in Penny's shoe without her noticing.
I rolled a 19, so
Yeah, you slip some money into his
Okay,
back pocket,
cool.
however much you want. to
yeah,
slip.
that's what I was figuring out.
You now have the stacks because you got the call number for spiritual beings. You can go ahead and make me an investigation check with advantage.
Just terrify people and they'll give you what they want, what you want. 22.
22. Yeah, you go over to that section, and you are, you're looking for books. You keep pulling some down. Finally, you strike upon, you some of the books. It's unclear if it has the information you need, so you'll glance inside and look at sort of table of contents or index and flip through and keep looking. And eventually, you do find a book. The book is titled Mordenkainen's Tome of Foes, 5th edition. There's a small little thing on the cover that says Interplanar Bestseller. And this is a tome written in the introduction. It explains it is a tome written by a powerful wizard who has traveled all throughout the multiverse, which that's not, I don't know if that's a term that's familiar to Nyx, but it sounds like it's a lot. And he has collected for the benefit of beings in, quote, in all worlds, whatever that means, to help protect them from interplanar invaders.
Okay.
And there is a section on demons.
Cool.
You're looking specifically for information on Baphomet, correct?
Yes.
So, here's what you get about Baphomet.
Can I take notes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what you get about Baphomet. Baphomet basically says two groups of people. There's the people who serve me, and then there's everybody else who are prey to be hunted and slaughtered. He is known for ferocity and savagery, but he is also known as intelligent. He has a particular love of hunting and a love of labyrinths.
Jeez.
He
It's gonna be one of those kinds of things.
He supposedly created the Minotaur. You also learn that cultists of Baphomet, they are the cult of Baphomet typically attracts individuals who believe that they are superior to everyone else. A level of superiority complex that makes them see other people as little more than sacks of meat, of prey, as Baphomet would see most mortals. They tend to be narcissistic and egotistical. According to Mordenkainen, cultists of Baphomet often include particularly cruel nobles who like using their vassals as playthings, assassins who assassinate just because they love hunting intelligent creatures, and the particularly paranoid, whose combine a sort of a xenophobia with bloodthirstiness. Typically, a cult builds a maze beneath a castle, a guild hall, or some other place it controls. The cultists capture victims and place them in the labyrinth. Then either they stalk their prey or they release monsters to stalk their prey in the maze. So that's what you find out about Baphomet.
Sure.
Is there anything else you'd like to look for while you're in the restricted section of the library?
Does Mordenkainen have any tips on how to defeat them, the cultists, or him?
Nope.
Okay.
The information I gave you is basically what you get.
Can I find any information on Minotaurs?
Sure. Yeah. Give me a second. They were created by Baphomet. There are some Minotaurs that have sort of because Minotaurs were created many millennia ago, right? Some Minotaurs went on, developed humanoid level intelligence, formed their own societies, and are no more likely than any other intelligent being towards good or ill. But Minotaurs are still actively being created by Baphomet, and so newly created Minotaurs are more beast-like than being-like, right? So, after a certain number of generations, Minotaurs become more being-like, but unfortunately, new Minotaurs tend to be more beast-like, and they tend to be carnivores. They're often live in dungeons, caves. There's a lot of connection between that and mazes. You do find out that the creation of new Minotaurs usually happens through demonic rituals performed by a cult of Baphomet. And unfortunately, rarely is a Minotaur able to escape from that setting. And because of the rituals and the cults, it sort of instills them with a great deal of power and bloodthirstiness and that sort of thing.
How do we defeat them?
They are big and very strong, but they are not particularly intelligent, at least not newly created Minotaurs. Again, if a Minotaur population that has escaped has enough time to develop into a real society, then again, they're no smarter or less, they're no more or less intelligent than the average being. But it's an interesting quick sidebar, an interesting zone to try to work in when a Minotaur is both a playable race in some D&D settings and is also a monster in the monster manual in some D&D settings.
Sure.
So trying to very clearly make the distinction between those two types of Minotaurs. But there's no like core weakness listed. But I mean, based on you and your friends have fought some powerful things before, is what I will say. And the Minotaur does look big and scary, but you've also fought some big and scary things before.
Sure.
So
Also, do I remember seeing a symbol by Baphomet's stuff?
that is a great question. Hold on. I gotta look it up. Baphomet symbol is often sort of a stylized pair of curving horns, sometimes attached to a central line of some kind.
Okay. Okay.
Anything else while you're at the library?
Nah.
Okay.
On my way out, I'm just going to look at the poor clerk. Just be like, beware of mazes.
Sure. Okay.
Good
thank
day.
you. Yep. Bye. And he escorts you out of the restricted section.
Cool.
All right. So, Penny, you were going to look into some things as well. Could you remind me what you were planning to try to find?
I have 5 things I want to try to look. I'm assuming
All right.
that there is a cataloging system for the archives at the Waterdeep Times, and only
Sure.
be able to search by certain terms or events or such.
Okay.
First though, I have a question. Do we know when the Watchful Order is giving that announcement after they finish the stuff in the dock wards? Do we know?
You do know. Pierre has, I would also say that that Pierre was informed when it was going to happen and let the two of you know as well, but you had already heard ahead of time from Freedom. I confess that I forgot to write it down, so the exact date. So I will have to comb back through that previous episode to find the exact date.
Oh, did you already tell us?
Yes,
Yeah.
I believe Freedom did. So unless somebody wrote it down, I, being a fool, forgot to write it down.
It was in a 10-day.
It was in a 10-day from the 20th was when you met with Freedom. So it would be on the 30th, which is the last day of the month.
And it is currently
It's currently the 25th.
of
Claw of Winter.
what?
Claw of Winter.
Claw.
So, I mean, the months are weird, right? There's a formal name and then a common name for every month, but almost everybody calls them by the common name. Nobody calls them the formal name anymore.
The common name is January. I'm kidding.
This would be more like February, actually. But,
that's close.
Claw of Winter is the common name for it.
And it's claw, like claw, not
Yes.
clog.
No, claw.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay, so that's on the 30th then. Is
Okay.
the Watchful Order press conference.
Okay. Do we know who's covering that at the Times?
Pierre gave it to the two of you, to you and Octavia, because
That's a Penny and Octavia thing.
yes, because that was, it's related to your thing, and he was basically like, might as well give it to the two of you, basically.
Okay.
So, but what are you looking up in the
Okay.
archives?
First thing, searching if there were any, because I know we got the names from the police officer guy, but searching the Times for anything on Simon Mayweather, any like names that would come up for that, or just disappearances with the food banks. So if there's any coverage on that.
Okay. So for that first topic, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That's a 19.
Okay. Combing through, unfortunately, there does not seem to be any reporting on disappearances linked to the food banks. There is some reporting about, those food banks, like every once in a while, just in like a small, piece, usually rented space by the, Order of the Gauntlet Benevolent Society. They'll rent a little space to advertise their mission or whatever, but you don't find anything, unfortunately, you don't find anything connected to the disappearances and that sort of thing.
Okay. Next one is I'm looking for stuff on Marivaldi, specifically about how he came into his position and kind of like his origin.
Okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
That wasn't very good. That was a 7.
7. You don't find anything specifically on how Marivaldi got in charge of the bank. You find there's a lot of writing about the handsome, rich, president of the Bank of Waterdeep, but there's not a whole lot about how he came to power. With a 7, there's not.
How old were these articles about?
I mean, for the last, every once in a while, it's in like, cultural life section of the newspaper, right, where there will be something about some like big function that the handsome, rich president of the National Bank of Waterdeep is putting on, and that sort of thing. So, you've got examples of this from the last several years.
Would I be able to glean a date when he started?
No, not
Like
this.
what the oldest article that I see is from?
I mean, the oldest article you see is from 3 or 4 years ago, but I mean, it didn't sound like he was recently came to power over the bank at that time, based on the article. But again, unfortunately with a 7, there's not a whole lot you're going to get from that.
Next thing, anything about cult worship or demon worship in the city?
Make another investigation check.
Jesus Christ. It's an 8.
An 8? No, you don't get anything about that.
+5 investigation.
Sorry. Anything else, or was that the last thing?
Last thing was Lance Marchester.
Okay, go ahead and make investigation.
Anything.
Yeah.
Let's try a different die. 18.
18. You find a few things about Lance Marchester. I don't know. Are you looking for anything in specific with Lance, or just generally trying to get a sense of what he's about?
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, Lance Marchester is the current head and heir to the wealthy noble family, the Marchesters, who have been a fixture in Waterdeep for many, many, many centuries. Lance is a politician. He is actually the first in his family line to go into politics formally. And he worked his way up from, just a city official to a junior congressman to now he is the head of the People's Vote Coalition in the Congress of Waterdeep, which is sort of a state level position. Based on the articles that you find about him, he's ambitious. He's moved quickly up through the ranks. He has made many, many statements in favor of giving the vote to all citizens of the state of Waterdeep and the Federation as a whole. But he will hold charity events and that sort of thing. But you sort of get from reading his statements and that sort of thing, you get the sense that there's not he hasn't outlined an incredibly detailed policy for how he wants to benefit poor and middle class individuals outside of voting rights. Right. He's like, yeah, let's give everybody the vote. That's fair. But then when he's been asked questions about like education rights, workers' rights, various sorts of things, he tends to dodge those questions in the interviews you can find.
Okay. Well, that's all.
Okay. Before you all meet up for the night, Octavia had something she wanted to do. So, Octavia, you stayed home today.
Yes.
Waited until your father left, I assume.
Yes.
Great. And then, are you going? You are searching for something amongst his belongings. Are you searching in the study or in his room, or what's the?
I would like to first try his office. Then I would like to try. Do we have like an attic or a basement or something?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, you have you live in a large manor, so you would have an attic. You could,
Yeah, there, and then lastly, his bedroom, bathroom,
Okay.
closet.
Okay. Go ahead. Just give me a general investigation check as you are sort of searching through his stuff.
22.
22. Very good. You do a pretty thorough search of his office. You don't find anything, but you are undeterred. Make your way up to the attic area. Go through some of his old he put like a bunch of his old investigative reporter stuff in like boxes up in the attic, right? So you're going through that and you're like looking through like notes of old articles he was working on and investigations he was delving into and that sort of thing. You're sort of just going through his stuff, looking for something. And you eventually find a very old letter in there. Does not look like it was ever sent from your father to a woman named Felocial Selavarun. Looking over the contents of this unfinished and unsent letter, it appears to be a love letter.
Mm-hmm.
At about this time, you hear a voice from behind you say, Octavia, dear? And you turn and see Jacinda, the halfling woman who works at your house. What?
Hey.
What's
I'm working a case. I gotta find. Dad said he might have some old case files up here that might be helpful from back when he was reporting.
make a deception check for me.
Oh shoot. Okay. That's a 5.
Okay. I didn't roll very well either, but I got better than a 5. She like looks at you and her eyes like drift down to the letter in your hand. And she was like holding sort of a duster, right? She'd been going around cleaning when she saw that the attic was open. And she sees the letter in your hand and she drops the duster. And it sort of just rolls across the floor.
What do you know?
She's getting like very pale. She already had pale skin, but she's getting like increasingly pale. I shouldn't say.
Jacinda.
Make a persuasion check with advantage
Okay.
because she's shaken.
Not stirred.
17.
17.
Yeah.
Your father fell in love with an elven woman while he was working on a article investigating the Watchful Order. Unfortunately, higher ups at the paper at the time, your grandfather and your grandfather, who didn't work at the paper but had some pull with them, did not want your father continuing to go down that investigation, so they pulled him off the case. And he never saw that elven woman he'd fallen in love with again. And then a couple years later, you were found on the doorstep of the Waterdeep Times by your father. Your father didn't know and doesn't know that you are his biological offspring. The only reason I know is about a 10-day after your father brought you home, a woman showed up here. She was very upset. I just put you down for a nap. This woman was very upset. And she told me that she couldn't help but want to see her daughter one last time. She said she was going to do something dangerous, and that is why she had given you up to your father, because she wasn't sure if she was going to make it out of what she was doing. And she asked me not to tell your father or you, because she didn't want to hurt either of you. And I never saw her again, so I would assume she didn't make it out of whatever dangerous thing she was involved in.
Well, why wouldn't you say something? I understand that she had said not to, but like,
I felt it improper to back out of a promise that I made to a dead woman. I assume a dead woman. And honestly, it wasn't, I mean, your father loved you very much. I love you very much. And I don't know, I just worried that it would cause only pain. And so
is there anything else that you haven't told me?
no, that's everything I know.
And does my father know?
No.
But does he know whose daughter I am?
No.
If not his, but
No, he doesn't.
he has to.
He doesn't know. I don't know if I mean, you look so much like your mother. I don't know how he couldn't see it, but maybe he's just chosen not to see it.
Is there anything else about her in this house? I want to know more about her.
I didn't even know that letter was still here. I'm afraid I only met her the one time.
Well, if it's all the same to you, I'm gonna keep looking around.
Okay. She picks up her duster and can I I'm sorry, dearie. And her eyes are like watering a bit. And she leaves the attic. You continue looking through your father's stuff. You find just, a few general notes that reference her regarding his time spent with her cell, which is what he refers it to because he never learned what organization she worked for. Most of the notes just talk about them continuing to try to do reconnaissance on members of the Watchful Order, figure out what they were up to. But it does not look like your father ever learned anything substantial during his time with them.
All right. I'm gonna put the letter back where it was, and then for a walk.
Okay.
Yeah. Just calm down a little bit. Just go for a walk. Go and find a Parker.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, you go off just sort of to try to clear your head before the agreed upon time when you all meet up to discuss what you have found. So we can skip ahead to Janara's house unless anybody had anything else they wanted to do. Yes, Bowman.
I wanted to do one thing. I was going through my notes and I remembered I asked Snack to do something for me over a month ago at this point. So I'm going to go see Snack after work.
Yeah. You go over to Snacks after work. Yeah, you go in. Mr. Bowman, come on in. How can I help you today?
I came curious upon the status of that portable hole I asked you of quite some time ago.
Oh my goodness. Yes, that's right. Give me 1 second. I will retrieve it for you. He goes upstairs. Comes back down. He's got like a long wooden case. Sets on the counter. Slides it across you. Portable hole for you.
Oh, thank you.
Out of game. Did you already pay him or no?
No, I didn't pay him.
Okay. So, portable hole, I believe, is an uncommon magic item.
It is a wondrous item.
Yes, but rarity is uncommon, I believe.
I think it just says rare.
Let me double check. I gotta check so I can figure out how much to charge you. Unless he already told you.
I think he said it was 10 talons.
That's really funny.
I think it was the trade for the manticore tail.
Yeah, you bought all the product.
Now this did take me, quite a bit of time to acquire and work on. But we have a good relationship. We have a good working relationship. You've given me some stuff in the past. So I'll cut you a deal for this one. Gonna be about 200 talents.
Well, here's the thing. I don't have that money on me just yet. Would you be okay with a finance type of situation? I'll give you 40 right now. Come back in another 10 days. Give you a little bit more.
Make a persuasion check for me.
Sure. Persuasion. Thank God, +7. That was an 18.
18. All right, sure.
Oh,
You're good for it.
Oh, thank you, Snack.
Yeah.
Yay.
So you can make that down payment and you have yourself a portable hole. As you open up the case, you see there is sort of a black handkerchief folded up in there. Now be careful when you unfurl it and throw it out, turns into a big old hole. So just be careful.
I will. Thank you. Quick question for you, Snack. Just someone who's not inclined with the magical items, someone who is inclined with the magical items.
Sure.
If someone were to, I don't know, mend this to a cloak or another article of clothing, it is an article made of magical spider silk, from what I understand. Is it possible to attach it to other things?
I mean, I suppose, but then your hole would just be in that thing that you attached it to. So, it's like and also gravity still applies, right? So if you put it on a cloak, yeah, you'll have a interdimensional 10-foot hole, but that interdimensional 10-foot hole is going to be sideways whenever the cloak is sideways. So everything you put in the hole is just going to spill out.
Fair enough. All right. Well,
Put it at the bottom of a bucket.
The hole is a 6-foot diameter, so
out of game, I was thinking about attaching it to the cloak that Bowman wears all the time, in a sense that if there was like, you know, treasure, because it only works if it's completely flat, that you can't access the interdimensional. So if I were to lay it on the ground, put things in it, then pick it up, the dimension door would be closed.
Yeah.
So that's the way I was thinking about it. But Bowman's gonna say, "Thank you, Snacks. I'll be back with another 40 come another 10 day. Have a good evening."
Have a good one. All right. With that, you all gather back up at Shannara's house to discuss what you learned and make your plans for your next steps. So, unless anybody wants to talk about what they learned, I just assume that everybody shares everything you learned regarding your investigation.
Not mine.
Yeah, I was going to
Sure.
say, I assume Octavia does not share hers. But we don't have to go through everybody sharing everything they just learned in terms of your research that you were doing.
So, what do we do with all this information?
He's got a freaky maze in his freaky mansion. And
Or
we're
under the
gonna
bank.
to go in there, or the bank, right? God dang.
And you said that, Nix, you said from your research that these mazes, it's either the cultists that do the hunting or the demon itself.
Or what's it called? A Minotaur, I think, is what I remember reading.
You read either the cultists or monsters.
Monsters.
And there is a particular association of Minotaurs with Baphomet.
Right. So it's
So-
all to please.
Yeah, I don't think we'd ever actually run into Baphomet, but
All right. That's a little more comforting.
Is it though?
But
Yes.
are they making minotaurs from the people they kidnapped?
Oh my
I
God.
think they're definitely putting them in the labyrinths and then hunting them. I think that's probably what was going to happen to Bowman.
Oh, so we gotta kill this guy.
Yeah.
And
There's a
maybe
chance
try to
that, like,
Or burn down his labyrinth and cut off all access to Baphomet, but
But
there's
what
a
if there's
cult.
someone alive?
yeah, exactly.
burning down the house. Wait, can we go back to that?
Oh, I kind of like.
We
that
should
idea
make
too.
sure that nobody's in the labyrinth though, because they would be an innocent victim.
I mean, how do we do that
I
other
don't
than
know.
going through a labyrinth?
So, is there any chance that, like, because rich people have parties, right? Is there any chance Marivaldi's having like a party at his house and like
Like tomorrow.
Do we-
You know, there's a convenient
know?
six people slot that they just
Yeah.
has to fill.
Look at this ragtag group of people. Let's invite them to my party.
I mean, Herb had a party. People be having parties.
Right?
Yeah, that was for an event though. It was for the midwinter.
Don't rich people have parties all the
Days
time?
event for rich.
Well, I don't know.
Everybody just looks at
Artemis.
Artemis.
What if
Sorry.
you threw a
So
party?
what?
What if you threw a party and you invited Marivaldi, and then we could get an invitation to his house through that?
How about
But he
somebody
wants
just
to go
party
see
and then
Artemis.
we go to his house while he's at the party?
That also works.
Well, there might still be servants and stuff around.
Yeah.
Like it could be trapped.
When's the next? He doesn't go to the food bank stuff though. There's
He's
got to be
some-
some fancy event coming up.
What's the social calendar look like, guys?
Yeah, who are our social connections? Who can we talk to? Who
has these things?
Would
And like
somebody-
I'm looking at you,
around.
Artemis and
Yeah,
Janara.
okay.
Yeah.
Ben, what have I heard?
someone at the water
I'm waiting
guys,
for someone to tell us.
So
Oh yeah, is there a
Are there
water
anything
guys?
Artemis,
coming
go
up?
ahead. Make a.
Make a calendar roll.
is there like a
I-
is there
Second
like a
round.
celebrity?
I would say
at
this would be a charisma check, just a flat charisma check to see if Artemis has worked his way into the right circles to hear about certain parties and events.
17.
17. Yeah, Artemis, you know that coming up the first day of next month, which is the Claw of Sunsets, is an old time holiday called Ryestertide, which is it's supposed to be a holy day for the god Lathander. Very, very few people actually properly celebrate it anymore for religious reasons. But it does it does sound like it is going to be there's going to be a rich person's party for Ryestertide, which you have a
The aliens are
the
coming.
aliens are
Sorry, there's a cicada outside my outside my window, just saying hi.
It's a loud cicada.
I'll just mute
all
real quick.
cicadas are loud
Who wants to
cicadas.
be featured?
There we go. So Ryestertide, you do have an invitation to a Ryestertide party, which I'm not sure if Artemis was planning on attending, seeing as it is a party that celebrates. It is a party that celebrates the the festivities involve the light of dawn, and so the party is going to start at dawn on the 1st of next month.
Well, I mean, Artemis will do anything for a party. Also, Lathander what is his deal? Am I remembering correctly? He's in like agricultural.
Yeah.
That is something that my family could be involved
Lathander
with.
is the god of dawn and renewal.
Never mind.
But as such is often associated with agriculture.
Okay.
Now there is a specific goddess of agriculture, but Lathander sort of is in sort of that general vicinity of like a group of gods that would be worshipped by farmers.
Okay. Huh. All right. Share all this information.
And the party, I would say, Artemis, you probably have an invitation back in your suite, but you probably don't. I would say you probably don't remember off the top of your head who's throwing it. You just got the invitation, filed it away, and we're gonna, maybe look back at it and decide if you wanted to go.
Sure. I mean, we could do a party and maybe he's invited and we get inside his house. I mean, are we wanting to, Penny said something earlier, are we wanting to kill this man? Or turn him over to authorities? Because I think that alters how we move forward. Because if he's the linchpin to a cult, we just get rid of him.
Right, but
Then the
he's
cult falls
very-
apart, right?
Just getting rid of him, though, he's a very high-ranking member of the society in this city. It would cause chaos, and everybody else who is in his group, all of the other corrupt business people, might just disappear too. I don't know. They wouldn't like leave, but they'd still do their garbage that they're into, but maybe with more security, and then we can't get to them.
I mean, yeah, it could be if he is killed, whether it's us or someone else, it creates a power vacuum, right? And then you get another crazy son of a bitch in his place. At least if it gets turned over to the authorities, there's more eyes on the situation. Harder for, I don't know.
Just like what happened with the crap. What? Bloodkeep.
Well, yeah, and the good thing about that was that her dad was put in. Ovina and the rest of those people are, put away for a little bit, and her dad seems better than she is.
Nix, have you heard anything from the factory workers? I know that you quit.
No.
But have conditions improved?
No, I don't. Have I heard anything?
I mean, you
Okay.
heard that they had unionized.
Right.
They used the the turmoil as an opportunity to force management into recognizing a union, because they were like, hey, company's going down unless you work with us on this, basically.
Right.
And management, with all the turmoil at the time, was in no position to deny their demands. So yeah, conditions have improved.
Yes, conditions have improved. But this, I mean, I'm all for, I don't really think about these long-term consequences often, but it's also a bank with people's money. And if the head of the bank dies, that could
The money is insured.
That could cause economic collapse. Which, on the one hand, maybe wealth would be redistributed, but on the other hand, maybe more people's houses would be foreclosed on.
Well, if the president of the company disappeared, then someone else would just step up. I don't think people would be rushing the banks.
It's not like we're taking the records from them.
Not like the stock market crashed. Is there a stock market?
Yeah,
there is now.
Yeah, there's a stock market. By the way, in terms of bank insurance in our real world, the FDIC didn't happen until the Great Depression.
Oh,
And that
Bank
hasn't
money was
happened yet.
not insured.
So we have to cause the Great
right.
Depression.
That's why
Yeah,
that was a bad thing.
Yeah, that's basically why the Great Depression happened.
Right.
Is because stocks dropped, everybody rushed to the
Everybody
banks.
took their
Banks
money.
didn't have the money,
Yep.
and it was
Right.
bad. and it was bad.
Well, but also now I'm thinking we don't need to go in the maze because we need evidence, right? We need evidence of
Sure.
this. So, I mean, I guess we could just do another heist and break into a study. I mean, we're going to end up in that maze either way. I feel that's going to happen.
We also should probably get rid of the demon worshippers because I feel like even if we get rid of the leader, there's got to be a second guy who's going to step up.
Well,
Did
Oh, we
anybody
can find that out.
Mantle the whole thing.
How do we figure out who else is in a demon cult?
I don't know.
join the demon cult.
That's a good way to do it. Undercover investigation.
I like that.
Not it.
I mean, you could just attack the main guy and force them to talk.
Wait, I But don't you think he might be more willing to talk to wealthy individuals if he thought that we were demon worshippers?
Yes, probably.
Oh, so we pick some demons to worship ourselves and be like, hey, you and me, we got things in common.
And then
Is that how you date people, Artemis? You know about that, right? Dating people.
Yes, what exactly are you implying?
Octavia, have you never dated someone?
What are you
if
talking about?
you answer no, we need to go to a tavern right now.
Octavia has dated people. Maybe.
Who did you date?
They go to a
They go to
different,
a different
school.
They read in a different newspaper.
They live in the forest.
Can I insight check if Octavia has dated someone?
Sure, make an insight check.
Wouldn't it be more a history check considering
No.
you know each other?
No, they
No, we haven't.
weren't close until
Oh,
the
that's fair.
beginning of the campaign. They knew each other.
18.
18.
What's
Octavia. Deception would be your check to even if you're not lying, it would be your check to conceal information.
17?
17.
Ooh.
So when Penny looks at you, what does she read on you in terms of if Octavia has dated anyone?
I'm gonna direct message to Penny because nobody
Perfect.
else gets
Oh,
to know.
incredible. Great use of direct messages.
Great use of direct messages.
Look, I don't particularly care, I'm gonna be honest. If this guy is as cruel and egotistical as Nix's research led on, and from what we heard briefly from, I gotta look at his name, from Herb Davis. Yeah, Mr. Davis. Matt forgot his name. Artemis didn't. Matt didn't sleep with him. Artemis slept with him. Look, I'm just saying, if he's a terrible person, let's go. Let's go get rid of him. Let's go break into his house. Let's go fight whatever's there.
Right, but we need evidence too, right? Like that.
We got our evidence. A devil.
Right,
A devil
his body
appeared
isn't-
and we heard demons. We
Yeah.
heard demons say, "Oh,
We're gonna think we're
we're going to
crazy.
report to him."
Also, no one cares about poor people, and half of us are poor.
Yeah.
Well,
Also,
half of us, some of us are middle class. One of us is middle class.
Also, Artemis, I don't know if you know this. Devils aren't necessarily truthful people all the time.
Also, we're gonna sound crazy going up to some police, even if it's like the lieutenant that we know. We go up to him and we're like, yeah, so a devil told us that they're all part of a demon cult.
Who said we
Yeah,
go
that
to
doesn't
police?
come off well.
Who else do we go to?
We don't. We do it ourselves.
Yeah, but
Freedom?
Yeah, we
I-
could talk to Freedom. Wait, did we talk to Freedom? I feel like we talked to Freedom.
I mean, Freedom's kind of the one that kind of put us.
we
on.
haven't updated her on the
Credits to
demon part.
did we? I feel
Yeah.
like that's something we told her.
No.
Nope.
We
I don't think
definitely
so.
It's
told
You
her.
been
met
2
with her-
days.
No,
you
not yet.
met with her before
Yeah.
you started doing stuff.
I
So you haven't spoken.
I can send her a message.
Maybe
Yes,
we
yes,
should
you
meet with
should.
Freedom.
Where is she? She should be at these meetings.
Not always.
She's busy.
Doing
Sometimes.
what? What is she
Harper
doing?
things. She's got other stuff that she's taking care
When
of.
Nick says Harper Penny's gonna put her hand over her mouth,
There's no one here.
So, should we send a message
Sure.
to
Oh, we
Frida?
should let her know.
Okay.
What-
She knows also about if Marivaldi's going any Rise or Tide parties.
If it means anything, I think I agree with Artemis on this one. We should break into his house, find evidence, and if he does die, oh well.
Sometimes rich, egotistical assholes have it coming, especially those that manipulate others.
I
The world's
was-
better off without
Where-
them.
You were about yourself for a little bit and then it switched up. That was a good caveat.
He turns and he looks at Penny, and it is just like a death glare.
I said the caveat was good.
Anyway,
So should I?
Just let me know what we're doing. And he just like leans back and opens his flask and drinks.
Um,
I want to insight check him.
Make an insight
'cause
check.
He also was the one that was like, I don't want to kill anyone.
Make an insight check.
That's a natural 20.
Woo! Six, Reed and Artemis, unless, of course, you could roll for a nat 20 deception.
Is he deceiving?
If you're
It's
trying
just
to
it's
conceal
just to
something.
conceal. It's not that you're lying. It's just trying to conceal your feelings and intentions. If you're kind of an open book,
I don't think Artemis can conceal
Okay.
his feelings on this one.
Okay.
Or at least it would be like he's not gonna be able
Uh-huh.
to do it well.
Okay. So what does Nyx read on Artemis?
Artemis is before he had a pretty strong moral code and compass to hurting people, especially killing people. It was on innocent people that didn't have any proof on actually hurting people. When Nyx described some of the tendencies of the cultists to be to think they are superior, particularly cruel, paranoid, that is when you noticed an attitude change in Artemis, and he has been severe ever since.
Gotcha. Yeah, we could totally kill him. Nyx just says to everybody else.
Octavia, I would suggest talking to Freedom. At least giving an update that we found a devil cult of some sorts.
Okay.
Demon cult.
Demon cult. Oh, sorry, Mobius.
Sending someone to Freedom.
Bowman, as you say, Mordai's.
Yeah.
No.
You just hear in your head, Bowman. I was a little offended there for it. That's not his voice. I was a little offended there.
Vinny, oh my god.
Vinny?
That's a whole other
I was a little offended there for a second, but
Mr. Bowman.
but I'm glad you caught yourself.
Bowman's just gonna react. God damn it! Another voice in my head.
What?
He always says that when Artemis talks to him.
Yeah, no, Penny's saying what?
Nothing.
Who was babysitting him tonight? Right? Did we do that?
Artemis?
Okay, good.
Yeah, Bowman, you're with me tonight. We'll have fun.
Wait, I mean, I'm gonna send a message to Freedom now. All right.
Okay.
Yes. I will say we found information regarding demons from a devil. Please stop by if possible.
You very quickly get back. Do you need me to come over right now, or should we meet tomorrow night?
Can't respond
and then
to that.
she sends her charge message for the day. Please respond when you are able.
If you could stop by tonight, or we can set up a time for tomorrow, if that is easier for you.
That's not helpful. We don't have any more charges left.
That's it. That's all
No,
the
I know.
charges.
Now we wait. We're gonna sit here for that's up.
A little bit of time passes. Freedom does eventually come. Does anybody want to do or say anything before Freedom's arrival?
Artemis might head down to the training room
Okay.
for a
Yeah.
bit.
By the way, Rose is still training every night, so she's also down there.
Oh,
No, she usually leaves before your meetings. She leaves.
I was
No,
gonna
no,
say,
no.
if she's down there,
Let's just play it
turn
out.
the
Come on.
fuck around.
No. She always leaves before the meetings because
We don't want her overhearing things.
Yeah.
Fair.
Is Bowman training with Rose?
Yeah, every night. Still.
Great.
When do
He'll
I
just be down there.
10 days?
You train once a 10 days, so you sometimes have joint training sessions.
Yikes. That's the whole thing, I'm sure.
By
You
the
can
end
role
of
play
this,
one of those sometime if you want.
by the end of this campaign, Petty knows Smite just obliterates.
Can
their-
we allow that?
If you multi-class into Paladin,
Ugh, that's a lot of work.
anyway, yeah, Artemis goes and trains for a little bit. Great.
Bowman's gonna follow.
Okay, yeah, Bowman, you go down to the training room after Artemis, see that he's like really like working out some.
He is being particularly mean to some of the mannequins.
Sure.
Bowman's holding the mannequins a little still.
Yeah. It's just like after a little bit you see like the rapier, because he's got the rapier out and working with it, and he's not quite using it correctly. Because it's a pokey weapon, and he's getting some like slashes.
Artemis. Pierce, not slash.
Well, yeah. Whatever. Yeah, sorry. Did I hit you?
No.
Oh, good.
A little bit of blood comes off of Bowman's cheek. No, it's fine. It's fine.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Eventually freedom arrives, you all gather back up.
Emotionally unavailable player.
Yep. You all gather back up when freedom arrives. So demons and devils, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yes, I was being facetious, dear.
So I guess Artemis heard a devil talk to him, and then
we all heard the devil
Yeah.
talk to him.
It went like
And
this.
us.
fought a demon,
Yeah.
kind of.
We
and
tell
giant
her the-
monkey.
Yeah, you tell her everything.
there was a monkey.
At some point, there was a dragon.
Don't know what that was about.
Sorry, that was me. I never told you all that. Oh shit. Yeah, that was me. That wasn't them.
Okay. Freedom sort of like rubs her forehead a little bit. Nix, did you mention something about the library? How did you get in?
Oh, yeah. You you owe Mavrius a drink.
Okay.
I can give you money for the drink.
No, don't worry.
I'm just gonna pour her something strong and hand it
Yeah.
to her.
Yeah, she downs it very quickly. Okay, demons is a lot, as is devils. And I'm very concerned about who the devils are working with as well. But we know who the demons are working with, and it's Marivaldi.
Yes.
So
Right.
as far as I'm concerned, the plan keeps moving forward against Marivaldi, right? That
Yeah.
seems like
Yes.
Yes.
the plan.
Yeah, but are we moving to get rid of him, or are we
I would say
moving-
do what you need to do at this point. If he's involved with demons, do what you need to do.
Let's kill
we
him.
should still collect evidence so that
You
we
should
can
still, you should still
Thank
collect
you.
evidence, but do what you need to do. Demons, a cult of Baphomet, no less, in our city is very not good.
Yeah, and hey, we could find out what the devils are doing also while we're
I
investigating
think we
demons.
should take on one thing at a
demons or the
time,
devil?
Nick.
You never know what information you're going to fall into.
Yeah, we might get cult leader information or cult participant information.
Mhm.
If you do find out anything about the devils, obviously that would be great. But
Demons or the devils?
We're focusing
Well,
on
we
demons.
focus on the demons. If you happen to find anything about the devils, obviously that's helpful. But all right. Could I have another drink, Janara?
I'm gonna hand her the bottle.
Thank you. And she pours herself another one and knocks it back.
You haven't heard anything about large construction projects around either the bank or Marivaldi's house?
Not recently, no, nothing that I'm aware of.
Ooh, you know what we did last time that might help this time is
Public
look
records?
for blueprints and such. Yeah. Because maybe
I don't think his private residence.
Yeah.
would-
but maybe
If
the
you
bank.
build a freaky dungeon, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna put that in. I think you get you don't hire a general contractor to put in a dungeon.
I'm just saying maybe we look
Here's
for
an
a weird
interesting
door.
thought.
Huh.
I wonder if Marivaldi repurposed any of the underground.
The what?
Huh?
There's underneath the city of Waterdeep, was a complex series of tunnels and passageways and ruins and catacombs and so on and so forth, very vast underneath the city. They were sealed off, a couple centuries ago now. The Yawning Portal, famous tavern, used to be the main entry point. Adventurers would pay to be allowed to go down into the underground. But the city, as I said, sealed it off a long time ago. But I mean, I'm just throwing a theory out there, just one of many possibilities. But I mean,
So would that be under the bank then, or
the Undermountain stretches underneath the whole plateau.
What is
goes very
lo-
deep.
So much larger.
what is
So big.
located where that tavern was?
The tavern
Still
is
there.
still there.
It's still there.
The
They've
hole is
bricked
just
it
been
over.
blocked. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It makes a good stage.
What was it called?
The Yawning Portal.
Right.
This is a very famous tavern.
Wait, is the tavern still open or isn't the tavern?
It is.
It's still open.
It is. Artemis frequents there.
That would make quite the appealing labyrinth.
if it reaches
If past adventurers went down there, I mean, there's all kinds of shit down there.
And again, the whole system was sealed off a couple centuries ago, but it's possible Marivaldi may have been able to open part of it back up.
Were there other entrances to it or just
The main one was under the Yawning Portal, but it was so huge, I wouldn't be surprised if there were multiple ways in and out.
That's so we can't. I mean, we can't just go down there, right? Like
We
that's
would
a bad
get
idea.
lost
That's huge.
Or worse, dead.
And
If we
there's
just
there's no guarantee that it actually is what Marivaldi's using. It's just a thought.
Right.
Also, if it's as big as the entire plateau, he might just be using a portion of it. If we go in, I don't know, at the main entrance, like who's to say we're even close to where he's holding anything if he's using it?
Right.
Maybe if we break into the house, we find another entrance.
yeah.
That seems illegal.
Illegal.
And
Yeah.
breaking
We've already
into
done
a
so much illegal
headquarters
stuff.
isn't illegal?
Is that the line?
We've broken into houses before.
I killed someone.
I have not.
Broken in or killed someone.
To a house, broken into a house.
What?
Oh yeah, you were outside.
I was not there.
Oh, that's right.
I stayed
You
outside.
broke in when we went to Bloodkeith.
No, I was let in.
Mm,
I swear.
Then that means I'm the only one who's broken into anything because I'm the one who unlocks the locks.
I was
I could get on board with that.
I like Octavia's moral compass here. Just like the door was open, so I walked in.
I
It's
went
fine.
in.
They didn't
Just on
have
the
everything tied
inside,
down, so I
opened it.
took everything.
Why don't we ask Ovina if we think that you were let in?
Question: do we want Marivaldi in his house or not in his house? Did I ask the same question for Bloodkeith? Do we want them there or not there when we break in?
I feel like
I
not
say we
there.
wait
question.
for the party.
I would say that we want them there, so if we
Oh, because we
can
want to kill.
kill him.
Well,
No, it's a
people
party.
come
If they're
home
still
from
doing
parties.
things,
I feel like we should have him not there while we're looking for the evidence.
Yes.
So
That's
we gotta
what
do
I
two
mean.
trips?
we've got
Once
our
we
evidence.
find the
I
evidence,
think evidence needs to be number one. Once again, I will remind everyone that an eyewitness testimony from 6 crazy people is not evidence.
That's true.
It should be. We should trust people, but
No.
we don't.
We should not trust people.
Artemis, you know the little book that we found at Bloodkeith? We need one of those, basically.
Can you do that again?
Possibly.
Sure.
Accidentally get someone fired in the process. too?
It's the longer we don't do something,
Uh-huh.
the more chance that we got rid of 3, right?
There
We don't
is
know
one
that there aren't more.
Mm-hmm.
There are also taking people.
We could do some other, like we have, well, first, even if we do break in, like as soon as possible, there's still some, like, we should look into like zoning and blueprints
Right.
and all that stuff and try to figure out and scope out his place and all that stuff. So it's not going to happen tonight or even probably tomorrow.
And there's not another food bank event coming up, which is generally when those disappearances happen. And again, obviously, we don't know that they're not taking other people at other places, but
Perhaps we should let Bowman get taken. Can we revisit that?
That's what I said in the first place.
See, I could
Slams his hands on the table.
I could send Lexa with him, but I can re-summon her as a different being that
Mhm.
could stay in a pocket of sorts.
Sure.
Or we just do the other thing.
Freedom.
You all
Right, she's there.
and
Oh,
you-
Penny jumps.
I
You let him get taken?
I trust your judgment. I again
wouldn't.
you've been successful before.
Oh,
With
have we?
how dangerous the cult of Baphomet seems to be, if you're gonna get captured, I'd recommend you all get captured so that no one's alone.
In that case, let's just all break in.
Great.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, this guy is a narcissist. He's egotistical. If we walk in, we're like, we can kill you. Of course, he's going to throw us into the maze. He's not going to turn us away.
Penny, you're really circling back on this maze thing. You think it's really gonna happen?
Here's my thing. If we go to this house, I cannot reiterate enough. We're ending up in this maze. I know it. I'm having a psychic vision. I think I'm coming into psychic powers. I am almost 125% sure that I'm going to dream about this maze and I'm going to end up in this maze and it is going to be my death. I'm thinking about it. I think it's true.
Okay. Well,
Yes.
so let's just all break in. That's my vote.
Agreed.
Are-
We break in
We're
together.
there.
We do our best to keep ourselves safe. We've pulled off some impossible things before. We'll do it
Right.
again.
I'm
Okay.
just hoping at the
Are
end
we-
of the maze, there's a little signed letter from Marivaldi that says, I'm part of a demon cult. And then we can get that as evidence. If we are in this maze and we just have a Minotaur head, that's not evidence.
If
whatever.
Octavia.
If we enter his
We're
house,
in the house already. We
somewhere in the house is going to be a symbol.
That's true. Yeah.
It's his house.
Yeah.
That's your
Picture.
evidence.
That's true.
Pictures.
I just don't want to lose sight of this.
Pictures.
I just don't want to lose sight of that. I feel like sometimes we get in places and then we get distracted by the fighting and then we lose sight of it, right? I just want it to be front mind.
Sure.
I would like the record stand that all the fighting that we do is purely on task. We're not going around punching things. Well, most of you aren't.
Then the other question is, are we waiting for this party or are we doing it sooner?
I would say sooner the better.
Sooner than later is probably better.
Okay. So we should scope out the house tomorrow. Should we break in tomorrow?
Yeah, I got nothing going on.
Let's do it.
Is tomorrow.
How we feeling? How we feeling
It's
tonight?
20 tomorrow
a
would be the
Wednesday.
20
Third?
Tomorrow would be the
Seventh?
26th.
6th. So not, yeah. So people without jobs scope it out tomorrow and then we convene.
I mean, do we want to do it during the day or during evening when he's there?
Well, we need to scope it out. So I'd say scope it out when he's not there. For sure. Less people to see you snooping around.
There's a pretty big gate before you get to the house,
Gotcha.
but I suppose it could be figured out.
Penny and Octavia, could you guys technically be working
Yes.
and looking at like records and such?
Yes,
Cool.
easily.
Yeah, we don't do anything at this job. I haven't written a story in like 310 days.
Done little fluff pieces. Let's just call it that.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have anything to fix, but if I don't have anything to fix tomorrow, I can hang out, scope out.
Well, it sounds like you all have a plan.
Jesus
in
Christ, freedom.
place. I like letting you do your thing. It sounds like you all have a plan in place. If you're going to scope out this place tomorrow and possibly try to rob it, I would recommend you all get an early night's rest.
Good idea.
So, good night. I'm going to go ahead and leave, and I would recommend you all also go home and sleep as well.
And she takes the bottle with her.
She pours herself.
The bottle's
one
already
last
empty.
glass, puts it back and leaves the bottle. The bottle has maybe 1 or 2 drinks left in it.
She
I'll finish
does
that.
she throws it back and she goes, ah, and since she's a tiefling, a little bit of flames shoot out. Ah.
Terrifying.
Yeah, and she leaves. Unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to do, you all depart for the night.
Yep, Bowman, come on.
Great.
My place or yours?
Mine, obviously.
Yeah, you all make your way back home, settle in for the night. Artemis, and you bring Bowman back to your hotel. As you reach your room, you see the lights on under the crack of the door.
Stop,
Jeez.
Bowman. I'll just point. Message. That light should be off.
Bowman slowly pulls out his big crowbar. And I go,
Look at all my spells.
I reply back, ready when you are.
Do I? No, I'm supposed to be here.
He actually
Gonna
just
get the
left-
cane out, and we're going to just fucking. Ben's just like, haha, you did leave the light on. You just don't remember. Yeah, I'm going to. If I hold a spell, I cast it if it doesn't go off, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we'll just take it. We'll
You
just do it.
burn the slot if you hold it, but don't cast
Yeah.
it.
Artemis, what? Why don't I just go first?
Sure.
I'm your bodyguard.
Oh.
All right. I'll be right behind you.
Bowman goes up to the door. I assume it's a sliding door. It's like a
No,
turning
it's
door.
they're at
What
Artemis.
kind of a
has-
hotel
has-
do you think I'm?
Artemis has
I
the
don't
key.
know.
Has the key for the door, so he
Oh.
would either have to give you the key.
Is it
or
unlocked?
unlock it himself. No, the handle. It's locked.
Artemis doesn't think he should check for traps, but Matt does. He unlocks the door.
Okay, Artemis, you unlock the door. Bowman goes in first, followed immediately by Artemis. As you enter the suite that Artemis has been staying in for the last several months, a handsome half-elven man is standing in the center of the room, glass of wine in his hand. He turns and says, "Brother dear, you're back late tonight. You said to come visit you in Waterdeep one of these days, and I figured I'd take you up on the offer." And that's where we'll end for the night.
I am so glad Bowman came into the room.
You're welcome, Sam.
All right, so that's where we're going to end for the night. Thank you for watching, everybody. We will see you all next week for episode 21.
We're legal.
That's true. That's true.
Really? No.
Yeah. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Bye.